Okay, so let me first greet you. Hi, everyone. My name is Professor Cherry Ann Garcia Durante. I know that some of you have not yet met me. This is the first time we'll be meeting each other. If you have like a stable internet connection, can I request that you show your face on your video? Pwede ba yon? Okay, so that I can actually see you. Yan. Especially if you have like, stable internet connection naman, can you open your videos? Yan. Hi, Charlene. Okay, so I can see Charlene. Okay, hi, Hazel. Hi, Janica. Okay. So I can see some people. Some are still not using their cameras. If you are using like smartphone or something, can you please change or rename your name into your real name? Yan. Paki-rename. Yan. Para alam natin. The rest, you only have pictures. Okay. So, hello. Yan. Welcome to your class on community health nursing. So if this is the first time that we met each other, ayan, kung first time natin nakilala, nakita ang isa't isa, so let me just introduce myself. So if you've seen our Google Classroom, I already have an introduction there. So let me just repeat that for you. So my name is Professor Charian Garcia Durante, and I am a registered nurse. I graduated from St. Louis University, Baguio City. I finished my master's in public health major in nutrition from the University of the Philippines, Manila. I am a graduate student of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, taking a PhD in genetics. Okay, so yeah, so this is my first. Ma'am, wala pong marinig yung iba. Why? You cannot hear me? For real? Why not? Yeah, according to this, everything is working just fine. Hazel, can you hear me?
Yes po.
Yeah. So if you cannot hear me, the problem is with your internet connection, I guess, because the rest is, here and they are hearing, listening, actually. Okay, so let me continue my introduction. So this is my first semester here in Calamba Doctors. So for some of you, of course you know that because you haven't seen me yet. And yeah, so wala kaming marinig. It means that you're not joining the audio if you cannot hear, no? So you need to join the audio. Okay, so I would like you guys also as your assignment to familiarize yourself with learning platforms that we're using here like Google Meet, Google Classroom, and Zoom. So itong tatlo major siguro na gagamitin ng mga professors nyo in their different classes. So you have to familiarize yourself. Go to like YouTube as all of you would probably do when you want to learn something, di ba? Ngayon, yan na ang go-to platform natin pag gusto natin matuto ng kahit ano. Type mo lang sa YouTube, how to, and there you go. So, so that you can, you know the technicalities of joining a class online. Okay, so, yeah, so as I've told you, this class is your laboratory and we'll be having a lot of activities to supplement the activity that we're supposed to have as RLE. So supposed to be you're going to the community and you're like, going and doing family diagnosis, mga ganon, no? Kaya lang the fact that we don't have that right now, we cannot appreciate that right now. What we do instead, at tas ang kagandahan doon, you all also have your community health nursing 2 pa naman. So doon malamang kayo babawi, no? So dito, what we do is more of lectures and the application of the lectures that we did, no? So makikita nyo there will be overlapping of your lecture and laboratory. Just like this one, I discussed this one during the lecture part of section B. yan. Pero kasi it's an lecture part, pero kasi yung activity niya is the laboratory part. Okay, so it's good for us to be able to discuss that right now. Okay, so with that being said, ayan. So yung may mga videos, let me again, yan. Hi, Dulce. Hi, Michaela. Nerhana, hello. Angelica, hi. Paula. Jane, hi. Ayan. So there's some of you who have their videos. Okay. For those who don't, I understand clearly. That's the reason why this session is being recorded. Yan. So we're recording the session so that if you have a spotty connection during the online class, you can have or you'll be provided with a recording of this on your Google Classroom so that you can view it easily, so just, go to the link and then view that. Okay, so much to do about myself. Ano pa ba? Yeah. So technically that's it. Okay, let's go. Let's move on. Okay, so let me just yay. So how many of you, I don't know how many of you have other devices, but if you're using desktop or laptops, this would be so much easier for you because like laptops and desktops are like for online classes. But if you're using like phones, then medyo medyo mahirapan ka ng konti dito sa ating activity for today. Pero we'll give you enough time to like switch on the screens. Okay. So let's start. Now, it is necessary when we talk about community health nursing. Let me begin with this quote. So, John Maxwell have stated that people do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. So it simply means that, well, you might be the best community health nurse out there. You might be the most intelligent CHN out there. Pero kung yung mga tao, they don't buy into your kindness or, they don't think that you really care, they will not even care what you're trying to propose to them. Now, yun yung application niya sa CHN. Same thing is true with our relationships, di ba? You probably have seen a person who, let's say, has let's say, napakatalino. No? Baka meron kang classmate before, like in LM or high school or last semester, na parang sobrang talino niya. And yet, people do not, parang wala siya masyadong friends. Because like, even though people know na sobrang galing mo, if they don't think that you actually care for them, then that's the time that, well, they will not care what you know. Okay? So they would want somebody who cares for them first before they even consider, ano bang alam talaga ng taong to. Okay, so with that in mind, no, we will be talking about the standards of nursing practice. And here you will, and the standards of community health nursing practice or public health nursing practice. So I'm gonna use public health and community health interchangeably in this session, no? So, pero isa lang yung ibig sabihin nun, it's the community health nursing practice or the public health nursing practice. Now, if, let's say for example, no, when you do your public health nursing, hindi lang siya basta-basta. Or basta alam mo yung theory, okay na, pwede mo nang gawin. It's such a vital thing for you to be holistic, for you to be able to convey rapport with your community. And that's so much more important than merely knowledge. So yun yung point natin dito. So hindi lahat naboboil down sa pagiging matalino lang. That's not enough for you as a nurse. So there are standards of nursing practice. So let's introduce this first. So community and public health nurses practice disease prevention and health promotion. If you recall in the introduction that I did with you, the video lecture, if you recall that there, I talked to you about the 3 P's, diba? You have promotion, prevention, protection. Yan yung mga core areas na napaka-importante na bilang community health nurse na kailangan mong gawin, Now, when you do this, it is something that is collaborative. You cannot do it on your own. So if you're that kind of nurse who doesn't work well with others, yung ayaw mo ng teamwork, no? Medyo mahihirapan ka po dito sa community health nursing. Kasi ang community health nursing, hindi kaya ng isang tao. Yun palang mga under sa'yo na barangay health workers, you need to know how to, deal with them because many of them are volunteers. And yung iba mang may nare-receive, ang liit lang nung nare-receive nila. So, pag hindi ka ang tawag dito, magaling makisama na community health nurse, you will not have the support of the people and even the support of your local government. So it is based on another thing about your community health nursing is that it is based on research and theory. It's funny that some people who do not understand research are speaking against research. No, probably you've seen some public figures saying negative things about research. Parang ba't ba research ang mga yan? Nahihibang sila sa research. Well, the research, its purpose is to give reason for your action. Probably you've experienced this before in your community or siguro yung mga sa province. Halimbawa may mga customs like your lola. Halimbawa sabi mo, ima, halimbawa ima ang tawag mo sa lola mo. Ima, para saan po yan? So for example, let's say may kinuha siyang dahon, no? Nagkasugat ka, may kinuha siyang dahon from the backyard. And then, nilagay niya sa sugat mo. Tinanong mo, ima, ano yan? Tapos may sinabi siyang kakaibang pangalan. Halimbawa, ano ang kakaibang pangalan ng dahon? Halimbawa ay eklavu. Wala akong maisip. Halimbawa yun. So, eklavu yan. Eklavu leaves. Okay, so pag ikaw sabi mo, ima, para saan po? Or lola, para saan po yung eklavu leaves? Maganda yun sa sugat. So, tinanong mo, bakit po maganda sa sugat? Basta maganda yun sa sugat. So, that is where research will come in. For you to actually provide systematic facts. So ano yung mechanism of action behind that eklavu leaf? Bakit siya nakakaganda sa sugat? Ito ba ay pangpa-stop ng bleeding? Kasi if it's it promotes clotting, then probably that is good. Pwede siyang gawing, let's say, capsule or topical ointment para mag-stop ang bleeding, mag-benefit pa mga hemophiliacs, something like that. And all of this will only be established if there is research. Kasi kung sa kanila lang yun, halimbawa yung dahon na yun, ang nakakaalam lang yung mga lola-lola. So the fact that they don't research about it, walang systematic knowledge, nasasayang tuloy yung dahon na yun na tumutubo lang sa gilid-gilid, hindi natin nagagamit for medical purposes. Yun lang, libre lang siya, no? So malay mo, ikaw pa makadiscover on, some cure, that you actually would be, accredited to in the future. That is the beauty of research. Kasi nagbibigay ka ng rason sa yung action. Hindi pwedeng basta ganun na lang. Dapat may reason. No? Parang sa relationship. Tama ba? So, hindi pa lang papasweet-sweet lang. Lalo na ngayon, online. So, hindi ko alam kung paano manliligaw yung mga boys dyan online. Siyempre, magpapasweet-sweet lang yan sa messenger. Pa-chat-chat sa'yo ng, hi, kumain ka na ba? Yan. So, siyempre, ikaw bilang girl, you have to protect yourself. So, you have to DTR, okay? Define the relationship or, define the... Ano bang ibig sabihin ng mga pa-sweet-sweet mong yan? Mga pa-chat-chat mo sa akin? Ba't mo laging tinatanong kung kumakain na ako? Mukha ba ako malnourished? Yung mga gano'n. No? So, you have to define the relationship para hindi magulo. May reason for the action. Okay? I-research mo yan sa mga nagpapasweet sa'yo. Kasi mamaya magugulat ka lang. Nag-invest ka na pala ng emotions, tapos ghosted ka lang, di ba? Kasi wala lang pala sa kanya yon. Or pwede niya sabihin, wala lang to, sweet lang talaga ako. So, ibig sabihin, okay, so hindi na ako, I won't entertain you anymore kasi wala palang meaning. Okay? So, you always have to provide reason for action. Ganun din po sa community. When you propose something sa community, give reason for your action. Hindi ka basta-basta, sige, injikan natin kayo. Sabi, para saan yan? Sabi, para saan yan? Ang problema pa nun, if you don't give reason for your action, pag may nangyaring negative, lagi nila ipo-point, iyan ang kasalanan kasi ininjikan mo ako niyan. Ayan. So, ayoko na ngayon magpa-vaccine, ayoko na magpa-immunize. Kasi akala nila yun yung reason. Okay? So, hindi nila alam na intindihan ngayon kasi bakit mo binigyan yan. Okay? So it applies, according to this, when you do community health nursing, you will need to apply your nursing process in your care. Do you still remember your nursing process? Yan. So, naalala pa ADPI? Ano yung A? Assessment. D. Diagnosis. P. Planning. I. Intervention. E. Evaluation. ADPI. Okay, so you need that in your community health nursing. So, huwag niyo kakalimutan yan. Fundamentals yan, tsaka health assessment. Naalala pa ba? So, dapat sa nursing, wag pass is pass, ha? So, yung mga lessons nyo from first semester, first year, wag niyo pong kakalimutan. Okay? So, that is also applied here in community health nursing. So, let's look at the different standards of care. Okay, let's begin with number 1, assessment. Okay. So when we talk about assessment, the public health nurse collects comprehensive data pertinent to the health status of the populations. Example of that is your demographic data or health statistics. An example of that is, ayan, wait lang, nabibigyan ako dun sa sounds to kapitbahay namin. Ano ba yan? Anyway, and so we already requested them to like lower it down because some people are having their online classes, but they, insist on on heightening that level. Anyway, so the public health nurse collects comprehensive data pertinent to the health status of the population, and this is done for assessment purposes. And right now, technology gave us like such an easy way to get demographic data sa mga population. You know, everything can be done online. Kahit na wala ka sa clinical setting, sa community setting, you can still get the data from the people through like Google Forms or Google Documents. And it's quite easy. Technology makes it easier. So demographic data will include your gender, age, socioeconomic status, educational attainment, and all of those things. Now, just to give you a glimpse of how easy it is, okay? So if you have, let me just delete this. Um, can you open another tab or another window sa inyong Google? Yan. Or can you open the Google? Yan. So if you open the Google, you can go to vvox.app. Yan. Vvox.app. No need to download anything. So it's gonna look something like this. So if you have another device, you can use that. This one. Vvox.app. So you just type in sa Google, vvox.app. Tapos mapapapunta ka na ngayon doon sa vvox.app. Tapos meron niyang kukuning ID. Yan. Meron siyang hinihingi, enter meeting ID. All you need to do is to write down this one, 152-292-577, and then join. And then when you join, you will go to community health nursing. So this is the tab. Okay, can you do that now? So you can do that on your mobile phones. You can do that, kahit anong gamit mo. Like in your computer, you just, kasi naka full screen to siguro sa inyo, ano nyo lang, liitan nyo yung screen, minimize nyo, and then go to that, vvox.app. Okay, that's split screen, dalawa, side by side. Okay, are you there now? Okay, so remember you go to vvox, type ko lang sa chat box, vvox.app. There. Okay. Now, once you're there, if you're there already, I will start the poll. So you will find there the question that you can see in my slide. Are you there? Meeting ID 152. Yung meeting ID po nandun sa slide ko. Nasa pinakataas, upper right. 152-292-577. 152-292-577. Okay. So if you're there now, ready. Okay. So you will find in that window the question that that's here in the slide. Can you see? Okay. So now you will answer. Anonymously, no? Hindi natin alam kung sino sasagot yan. Kung ano yung mga sagot nyo. What is the highest educational level of your mother? So just put it there. Okay. Just answer. So I have 23 answers so far. Go ahead. Answer lang. 24. Okay, good. 27 now. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Okay. For those who are still looking, Vivox, that app. No need to download anything. Just go there on the Google and write the meeting ID. I have 30 right now. Okay, 10 seconds more to vote, no, to answer. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Ano lang highest educational level ng iyong nanay? 5, 4, 32, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Let's answer that. Okay. Okay, so based on this, chanan, so 46.67% of your parents or of your mothers are high school graduates. 6.67% are vocational graduates. 40% are college graduates. And 6.67% are master's and PhD graduates. So based on our research, no, based on this, more than half of your or of our parents or mothers have an educational level of vocational or higher, no? So actually, if you could look at that, ayan. So meron tayong about like 46.67% na college and higher, no? So, ibig sabihin, like, it's quite high, no? Yung sa mga mothers natin, no? It's quite high, yung educational attainment ng mothers natin. So, if you look at that sample. So, just here, you can already know, no? Um, is there, or you could ask, is there a relationship between the maternal educational attainment and the courses that their children take in college? So pwede mo siyang maging question or research question. Okay, so this is an example of how you utilize some of your demographic data. Okay, so I'm running out of time. It's like 10 minutes in. Okay, sorry, let me just delete that. Do you have a family history of the following diseases? So, alin dyan yung mga makikita mo sa family history mo? Okay? Do you have like diabetes in the family history, cancer, stroke, MI, asthma? Okay. So, all you need to do is to click and don't forget to send. Click and then send. You can vote up to 5 choices. Pwede kung lahat yan nasa pamilya mo, pwede mo i-vote lahat. Pero alin dyan yung alam mo na nasa family history nyo? So I got like 16 votes in, 17 votes in. Okay, go ahead. Don't forget to send. Kung nagkamali ka, just click clear and then again, vote again. I have 23 now. Okay, go ahead. Sige lang. You can vote. For those who have not yet gone to the Vvox that app, you just, go there anytime. You can see this poll right now. Okay, so I have the participants. So let me just close that poll so that you know the family history sa atin, no? Sino yung mga, ano yung, what, how do you make sense of this? Okay. Oh my. So in this class, so I have like diabetes. 75% of our families in this class have history of diabetes. Whoa. That is that is a huge statistic. Ibig sabihin, in this class, like most people are predisposed kasi may genetic predisposition ang diabetes. We are predisposed to diabetes. So pag kinumpare mo, asthma 46.88%, in my other class, ang pinaka-highest na familial disease is asthma. Asthma ang pinakamataas in section B. Pero dito, as I can see it clearly, marami, 75% is diabetes, 46.88% ay asthma. How do you make sense of this in the community? So pag kinuha mo to sa community, tas meron kang ganitong statistics, pwede mong sabihin na 75%, which means that 7 out of 10. You know, you can round it off to 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 people in the community is predisposed to diabetes. So kung 10, 8 doon predisposed. Kasi 75%. You can round off higher or lower. In asthma, about 5 out of 10, 46.88. So 5 out of 10 is predisposed to asthma. So from this pa lang, pwede ka na ngayong makaisip ng mga health programs. Kasi nakita mo na ang taas-taas ng history or risk natin sa diabetes. So anong pwedeng kong mga health program para ma-prevent na magkaroon ng diabetes yung mga patient? So alam mo na ang isa sa mga risk factors ng DM, let's say, is obesity. So what you do is you try to, let's say, target obesity in your health programs. So this is an example. So meron ka ng reason for why yun ang health program mo kasi ang iyong ngayong risk is high because you have 8 out of 10 people in your community has diabetes, okay, or is at risk for DM. Okay, so that's an example of the research that you can do. Now, next you have their population diagnosis and priorities. After you have gathered your assessment data in the community, the next thing you do is to diagnose. Remember your nursing diagnosis in your health assessment. So, naalala nyo, may mga nursing diagnosis kayo, altered or impaired, naalala nyo, ineffective, ayan. So, diba, ineffective breathing pattern, impaired bowel elimination, okay? So, yung mga ganyan. Ngayon naman, you're diagnosing the entire community. So, the public health nurse analyzes the assessment data and from there, determines the population diagnosis and priorities. In your family typology, which we will discuss next week, probably either Ma'am Fabian, Ma'am Samosa, or Dean will be the one discussing. I don't know yet kung sino kasama natin sa laboratory. However, one of them would probably discuss this and they will discuss to you when you do your family diagnosis, part nun, yung mga sinasabi nating health deficit, health threat, foreseeable crisis, wellness diagnosis. So, remember in your community, ang client mo, hindi lang yung may mga sakit. Client mo rin po yung mga well client. So, sometimes yung family, wala sila, let's say, health deficit as of the moment. They're all healthy. So, pwede ka magkaroon ng wellness diagnosis. Pero let's say, based on your assessment, kulang yung knowledge nila sa isang, let's say, social distancing. Hindi sila marunong about social distancing or COVID-19. Kulang yung knowledge nila nung nag-assess ka. So, what you do is your wellness diagnosis could be, or you could have, let's say, knowledge deficit. So, how do you do, is there a threat? Kung halimbawang meron kang kakulangan ng knowledge sa isang sakit na nakakahawa for that matter, can that pose a threat sa family mo? Can that be a threat? Yes or no? Can that be a threat? Halimbawa, hindi mo alam, meron kang knowledge deficit? Yes, diba? Kasi for example, di mo naman alam na let's say for example, di mo alam na ang ano ba, halimbawa, hindi mo alam na nakakahawa pala, let's say, ang syphilis. Grabe, syphilis. Okay, STD talaga. So, hindi mo alam. Sabi, ay, ano, sabi niya, ano kasi, hindi ko po alam na nakakahawa yun. Okay, so, kaya, I committed unprotected sex with other people. So, obviously, that poses a health threat. So, kailangan alam mo kung yung may appropriate knowledge ka about certain diseases for you to prevent certain threats to occur. So that can be a diagnosis. And then you need to prioritize. Next is your outcomes identification. Now, it's very important for you to have a goal. Ayan. Isa sa mga kailangan ng public health nurse, kailangan po meron siyang goal. Hindi pwede na basta-basta lang siya, makapag-duty nga today, tapos na yung duty ko, kikita ako sa 15. No. So, kailangan meron kang goal. The public health nurse identifies expected outcomes for a plan. Kaya kami ginawang health program kasi may objective ka, may gusto kang maabot. And part of that is also having your population you should base that on your population diagnosis and of course your prioritization. Now, an example of a goal is to reduce the risk. So, risk reduction is one goal. So, let's say, for example, balikan natin kanina yung characteristic ng mga group natin. Maraming may history ng diabetes. So, isa sa mga goal na pwede natin gawin is to reduce the risk of diabetes sa group natin. So, how do we do that? So, we target the risk factor, which is obesity. So, ngayon, mag-plan tayo ng health program that targets obesity. So, let's say, Zumba Wednesdays, halimbawa ganon. So, I don't know. So, maybe that's your health program in the community. So, ipapropose mo siya, ang goal mo to reduce the risk for diabetes type 2. Okay? So, that's an outcome identification. The fourth standard will be planning. So, syempre, kailangan pagplanuhan, hindi pwedeng basta go, go, go lang, no? So, especially when you talk about health programs, hindi mo basta-basta lang i-implement yon. Kailangan may plano kasi kailangan mo maghanap ng resources para magawa mo yon. So, the public health nurse develops a plan that reflects best practices to attain expected outcome. May goal ka eh. So, for you to be able to attain that goal, kailangan yung plano mo, yun yung best practice. So, you'll do an action plan. Remember, kapag clinical nurse, pag nasa hospital ka, yung plan mo usually ginagawa mo para sa sarili mo. Kung ano yung mga intervention na gagawin mo sa pasyente mo. Pero kapag planning in terms of the community setting, you always include the community who is your client or the family who is your client sa paggawa ng action plan. Kasi usually, ang mga health programs na pina-implement natin or the plan are actually ang gagawa niyan, hindi tayo. Sila ang gagawa. For example, nagpa-implement ka ng Zumba. Alam nga naman yung community health nurse lang mag-Zumba-Zumba doon. No. Kailangan ang gumawa nun yung mga tao na at risk for diabetes. So, paano mo mapapagawa yun kung wala silang ownership sa plano? Okay. Have you ever had, let's say, a group? Ayan. So, lesson. So, this is planning. So, as I've told you, when you plan out activities in the community, so it's the stakeholder, yung community mismo, or yung family mismo, ang nagpaplano. Kasi kailangan nila ng ownership. Ang isang example doon is, let's say for example, sa group nyo. So for sure, some of you had thesis before, diba? Sa senior high, tas group thesis siya. So let's say for example, doon sa group thesis nyo, part ka ng group, kaya lang hindi ka, alam mo yun, parang wala kang ownership kasi hindi ka man lang tinatanong kung anong opinion mo, alam mo yun, kung ano, kaya sabi mo, sige kayo na lang, kayo bahala dyan, gano'n. Kasi ayaw mo kumilos kung hindi ka part ng decision. So that's the reason why when you plan out decisions in the community, you have to always, or even in a family, you have to always make sure na kasama sila sa plano or sila mismo yung nagpaplano nun. Kasi lalo na yung may mga health problem, kung halimbawa yung pamilya nyo may health problem, sila mismo, alam nila yon. Alam nilang may health problem sila. Alam mo, kayo ba naman, pamilya, pag kumain kayo ng dessert, tigi-tigi sa kayong cake. Alam mo yun, yung parang, oy, akin tong round na to. Ito yung sa'yo. Kaya tigi-tigi sa kayong roll nung Goldilocks. So, alam mo yon. So, obviously, you also know that you have a problem. So, kayo mismo makakapag-identify ng problems na yon, and kayo mismo makakagawa ng plan on how to address those problems. Kahit sa community, sino bang best tanungin kung anong pwedeng ma-improve natin sa community? Eh di syempre yung community folks. Lalo na kung yung community health nurse, hindi naman siya taga doon sa community na yon. I'm not sure if you've heard of RN Heals before. RN Heals is a program of the government to deploy registered nurses in different rural health units in the Philippines para ma-address yung mga health needs ng mga yan. Tapos papasweldoin kayo ng gobyerno. However, let's say for example, pupunta ka dun sa isang community, and that community hindi ka taga dun. You don't speak the language. So yun, magkakaroon kayo ng problema dun. Syempre yung iba, merong hesitancy na mag-open sa'yo. Pero, pag tinanong mo sila, ano yung health problem dito sa community, usually the community knows the health problems that they have. So you have to include them in the action plan, or else, alam mo yon, they will just not, do stuff that you want them to do. Ganun din sa leaders, pag mga group work, huwag ka nang basta maka-assign. Unless na lang sinabi sa'yo na, o sige, ikaw na mag-assign sa amin kung anong gagawin namin. Pero mas maganda, plan it out with your group. Like, kayo, meron ba kayo ditong anong gusto mo? Ikaw ba, gusto mo sa written output? O ikaw, gusto mo ikaw yung gumawa ng PowerPoint? So, ibig sabihin, meron siyang ownership. Pwede siya mag-volunteer kung ano yung gusto niyang gawin. Okay? So, when you plan out as well, it is necessary that you implement what you plan out. Minsan ganun tayo mga Pilipino, no? Pag tinignan mo daw yung mga batas natin, it's so funny that a Singaporean once went to the Philippines to look into our laws, yung mga batas natin. Inaral nila yung health system natin kasi nauna tayo na maglagay ng law, no, na that would be implemented. However, nung pag-aral niya nung nung laws natin, in in kinontextualize sa Singapore, and now they're able to implement it better than us, so that is the thing about the Philippines. We're good with laws, we're good with planning, pero pagdating din sa implementation, doon tayo pumapalya. So, may mga batas, pero hindi na i-implement. Kasi 'di ba, hindi tayo nagko-comply. Sabi nga ng popular na song. Ayan. So, sa classroom may batas. Okay, so you have to comply. So, when we talk about implementation, as a public health nurse, you implement your identified plan not just on your own, but by partnering with others. So it is necessary for you to actually partner with others, to actually collaborate with other people, other groups, and of course, very importantly, with your patient, the community. No? So, ayan. So let me just delete this. How do you delete there? So go back to remember your Vivox app. Ayan. Go back to your Vivox app. Where are you at? Okay. Vivox app. And then again, write down your passcode. Kung na-out kayo doon, ha. Okay. And then, there you go. Answer the following. Oh, what happened? Escape that. Okay. So can you, wait. There. Who can you collaborate with when planning for a community health program? Yung answer nyo, one word lang. I mean, kung two words siya, walang space. Pag nag-space kasi, ma-enter. Okay? So, masisend siya automatically. So, write as many as you can. Who can you collaborate with when planning for a community health program? As many as you can think of. Sino mga makakatulong mo bilang community health nurse sa pagpa-implement ng community programs? Okay? So I only have 14 answers, 17 answers now. So all you need to do is write down your text and then press send. Yung iba nga, basta in-enter mo or space bar, madadala na dyan. So 18 pa lang nakaka-comply. Go ahead. So go to Vivox app and then who can you collaborate with when planning for a community health program? Okay, I got 24 responses. So yung di pa nakaka-respond, don't forget to you can write as many as you can. Okay. So let's now see your responses. Tingnan natin. Ah, look at that, guys. So, tinanong ko kayo, sino pwede mo collaborate with when planning for community health program? Barangay officials is the highest kasi the larger it is in word cloud, mas maraming sumagot nun. Very good. So, it's the barangay officials, schools, correct, community, NGOs, right, friends, family, barangay captain, mayor, correct, SK president, right. That's right. Citizens, social media. Oo, no, meron tayong mga social media, influencers. Meron ba diyang influencers? Yeah, so these are the influencers. Government, correct. Nurses, local government, correct. Governor, doctors, yes. Barangay officials. So, there you go. So, it means that these are the people who you can collaborate with when planning for a community health program. So, kita nyo yung importance ng collaboration when you do implementation. Kasi kung ikaw lang yon, napakahirap nun. So, hindi ka superwoman or superman na community health nurse para implement mo lahat yung mga gusto mong healthy lifestyle changes or healthy programs sa community na walang tulong ng mga ito. Kahit nga lang yung mga, alam mo yun, yung mga barangay tanod, right? Na nagta-traffic or yung mga ganun pag meron kayong program, pwede na yan, pwede yung makatulong sa inyo talaga. You know, so these are the different people who can help when you implement your health programs. Okay, so let's proceed. When you do implementation, part yan, coordination, health education, health promotion, consultation, and regulation of activities. So, ibig sabihin, as you implement, you have to make sure that there is coordination. Na-try nyo na bang mag-host ng event? Ayan. Tapos walang coordination. O kaya umattend ng isang gathering, tapos parang walang coordination. Halimbawa, wedding. Ayan. So, hindi mahanapan kung nasa na yung dove. Saan ba yung, nasa na yung kalapate? Yung mga ganun. O kaya nasa yung pansindi nung, pansindi, may sinisid naman. Ayun, pansindi nung candle when you when you have the wedding. So, kapag hindi coordinated properly, alam mo naman, just like any event, it will be a disaster. So you need to coordinate this appropriately. Then you have health education and health promotion. Of course, you should include that in your health programs as well. Then you have your consultation, like with your doctors. So you consult. Halimbawa, Doc, do you have any suggestion? Kasi usually sa RHU, merong doctor assigned dyan. So baka may suggestion sila, may alam sila about it. And then regulation of activities, of course, you have to look at the program. Alin ba dito yung kailangan, necessity? Ano yung hindi na kailangan? Halimbawa, kailangan ba talaga na yung barangay captain may mag-sona dyan sa program? Minsan may gano'n, no, sa programs na na-attenda namin, mas matagal pa yung speech ng barangay captain kesa dun sa guest speaker. Kasi parang gusto niyang magpaboto next next na election. So you have to make sure that the activities are regulated properly, appropriately according to your goals and plans. Okay. So let's continue. Another standard is standard 6 is evaluation. So part of your remember your nursing diagnosis ad pa yun, yung last part is evaluation. The public health nurse evaluates the health status of the population and also evaluates the health programs proposed by the health the barangay health nurse or the community. So part of this is your health statistics. When we go to your epidemiology, which we will do in the latter part of the semester, you will you'll be forced to compute force talaga. So yung mga magaling dito sa math, may enjoy nyo to kasi may computation. May mga rates, crude rates, mortality, death rate, birth rate, yung mga ganyan. So may mga computation tayo. And then of course, the interpretation of graphs. So trends analysis. Ayan. So yan ang mga pag-uusapan natin when we go to epidemiology, which is fun. Okay. So this is an example of a health statistic in the community when focusing on mental health. So again, go to your VVox. That's the reason why hindi ko sa chat pinapasagot to kasi some of the questions that you might want to gather information on are sensitive information that you don't want others to know. This is just that example. When you're testing for the mental health of your community and you have this question, have you ever experienced depression or extreme loneliness during the pandemic? Yes or no? Yes or no? Have you ever experienced depression or extreme loneliness during the pandemic? So don't worry, your answers are anonymous. So we don't know who answered which. We just get the total statistics. So I hope that you're answering honestly. Okay? Let's check your answers. So based on this, 81% have experienced depression and extreme loneliness during the pandemic. This is a huge statistic. At ang statistic na to will now back up your prioritization of mental health for your community. Halimbawa kayo ang community ko. So, kayo ang mga pasyente ko. 81% nyo ay may nagkaroon ng depression or extreme loneliness ng pandemic. So, I have to target mental health in my health program because I have that statistic. So, nagulat ako sa statistic. This is much higher than my statistic with section B. And to me, it says something about our community that we are experiencing depression during this pandemic, and this is not a subject that is quite light, no. So this is something that is serious. Let me propose to you another. Here is your question. Have you ever had suicidal ideations or attempted suicide in your life? Have you ever had suicidal ideations or attempted suicide in your life? Yes or no? You can be honest. Have you ever had suicidal ideations, like suicidal thoughts or attempted suicide in your life? Yes or no? Let's get your statistics. Based on the 36 participants that we have right now, 48.57% said yes and 51.43% said no. So kung 36 tayo dito, almost half natin nag-try mag-commit ng suicide. Can you imagine? 36, the half of that is what? That's such a huge statistic, no? 36 people, in 36 people, half of that, 18 people, like, said in their minds that um, it's no longer, this life is no longer worth living. And this is such a huge statistic for us to consider mental health. Kasi dumating sila sa point dun sa life nila na parang wala ng hope. And yet, I know that many of you know each other. Pwedeng kasama mo lang yan sa GC and alam mo yung joke siya ng joke doon, tawa ng tawa, and yet meron pala siya nitong mga suicidal thoughts. Meron pala siya mga attempts before in suicide. So, this is such a huge statistics. Medyo similar sa statistics ko with section B. So, as I have offered them, so will I offer you. If you ever have thoughts like this, in your experience right now, I would like you to call for help. Like before doing anything, before attempting anything, I want you to call for help. And that's the reason why I'm giving you my personal number. So if you need to talk to somebody, you need to talk to someone, I'm going to give you my personal number. This is my number. So you could call me, PM me anytime that you feel this, you need someone to talk to. Just kasi hindi ko kaya sa messenger, minsan hindi ko nababasa, lalo na kung hindi tayo friends. So hindi na ako makapag-add kasi ng friends right now because I have already 5,000 pa-famous, alam niyo naman. So ayan, so so you need to like if you need somebody to talk to, uh so you can just PM me and mom, can I call, or mom, can you call? So I'll call you. Okay, so yeah, so this is the reality that we have right now. So many people are like ando na sila sa edge, and I hope that it will not come to that, to that that you will decide that it's no longer worth living because well, for me personally, I think suicide is quite selfish because you don't know the pain of the people you will leave behind. So if only for them, if only for them. I'm always telling my counselee. So I do counsel some people with this ideation. So I only ask them that um, you will not see it, but you can be sure that the people you will be leaving behind will be devastated by that action because they will only blame themselves kasi parang ba't di ko nakita, and they will suffer. Although ikaw mare-relieve ka na kasi pwedeng maisip mo na okay na ako, I mean I'm done with the pain, but the people around you will just begin the pain of losing you. Okay, so this is suicidal ideations. Another standard that we have is what we call as your quality of practice. So from there pa lang yung assessment mo kanina, like if you are just you're able to evaluate the health statistics, you're able to assess that, then you will now gather information to improve the quality of practice that you have. So the public health nurse systematically enhances the quality and effectiveness of the nursing practice. Now this is what we want to do and to boost in terms of community health nursing. Kasi most people will say yun yung fallback nila na parang hindi kasi hindi umokay yung apply ko abroad kaya sige mag-community health nurse na lang ako. So that's not what we want. We want community health nurses or public health nurses to uphold themselves in a certain standard kasi you are like public servants, especially if you feel like a key this sense of service or altruism para sa Filipino communities, then you probably this is probably for you, public health nursing. You have to uphold the standard of care. Pataasan natin yung standard of care ng Pilipino, no, sa kapwa niya Pilipino. Because sometimes if we're taking care of other people, it's like, we increase our standard of care. Pero pag kapwa natin Pinoy, parang, pwede na yan, inumin mo yan, ganyan. So, that's so typical of us. Pero ito, what we want is constant evaluation and of course constantly increasing our capacity for service. Then next you have your education. That's why we want to increase our capacity. One way to do that is to educate ourselves continuously. So the public health nurse attains knowledge and competency that reflects current nursing practice. So That's why we have conferences, we have trainings, we have continuing education, master's degree, PhD, postgrad. So tuloy-tuloy lang 'yan, no? Sa pag hone ng skills mo para ma-upgrade mo rin yung iyong professional, magkaroon ka ng professional and personal growth. That's why we do your education, continuous education as part of the standard. Okay. So I hope that right now you're already thinking, ganito pala yung dapat na standard ng isang public health nurse. And probably you've encountered a public health nurse before. And pwede mo masabi na, ay ma'am, parang nag-fail siya sa iba sa mga standards na to. So later on, we'll see kung alin dyan yung mga failings ng karamihan. No? So next, you have your professional practice evaluation. Have you ever heard the cliche or the quote that experience is the best teacher? Narinig niyo na yon? Yan. Actually, that quote needs some anong tawag dito? Some revision because not everyone learns from experience. No? May mga iba kang, do you know some people na they commit the same mistakes over and over again? Like for example, yung nagpa-advise pa sa'yo, ba may friend ka, sabi niya, friend, niloko niya ako, friend. Ganon. Sabi ko, sabi mo sa kanya, friend, kasi wag ka na ma-in love sa mga bad boy, sa mga, playboy na ganyan, katulad niyan. Tapos maya-maya, after a month, ayan, may dinidate na naman na, again, isa na namang playboy. Alam mo yan, so parang, ano ba naman to, nakakainis naman, hindi naman to natututo. Bakit siya hindi natututo? Because yung experience niya, experience lang. Hindi niya ini-evaluate. So instead of saying experience is the best teacher, you say evaluated experience is the best teacher. Because you need to look back at yourself, mag-assess ka, personal assessment, for you to know, okay, kailangan pala to. Kailangan pala ako mag-grow. Okay? So the public health nurse evaluates one's own nursing practice in relation to professional standards. You need intrapersonal evaluation. Yung sa sarili mo, evaluate mo sa sarili mo. Kasi no one knows you except yourself. You know? No one knows you better than you know yourself. So alam na alam mo yan. That's why you need to evaluate your own self. So this is our next VVOX question. How much effort are you giving as a student nurse? Be honest, Okay. Ilang porsyento, kumbaga kay Taguro, wow, kilala niyo ba si Taguro? Kumbaga kay Taguro, ilang porsyento ng lakas ang binibigay niyo dito sa pag-aaral niyo ngayon ng nursing? Ito ba ay 25%, 50%, 75%, or 100%? Be honest. So I'm also using mine, looking back into my own nursing experience. Okay. Sige, vote. May hindi pa nakaka-vote? Go ahead. How many percent are you giving? And how many percent are you giving for your community health nursing? Or rather, not just this, basta nursing as a whole. Okay, let's have that. Nakaboto na. Let's see the statistics. Tanan! Oh, what happened there? Okay, so I got 45% only gives 50%. 50%! 42.86% gives 75%. And only, tingnan nyo only 11.43% gives their 100%. What does it mean for us? It means for us that we're being honest. Hindi, ibig sabihin, hindi ka 100% sa pag-aaral mo ngayon. And then you will complain, wala akong natutunan last sem. Yung mga gano'n, di ba? Paano ka hindi matututo? Ay, paano ka matututo? Hindi ka naman nagbibigay ng effort. Hiningi mo lang yung effort ng prof mo. According to Confucius, di ba? When the student is ready, the master appears. Which means that it doesn't matter how bad your teacher is. Of course, may teacher factor, pero kahit gaano ka ka-bad yung teacher mo, you will still learn something from that teacher if you as a student is ready, if you are ready to learn. No? So you have to be ready to learn. So for those who gave 75%, that's almost half din, no? Nagbigay 75%, 42% gave their 75%. So ibig sabihin hindi mo pa rin tinotodo. Okay? And challenge ko sa'yo, tapos yung iba, 50% ang binibigay. So, dun sa 50% na binibigay, pumapasa ka pa rin, di ba? Mataas pang grade mo. Eh, what more kung taasan mo pa yung percentage mo? Di ba? So, dagdagan mo naman yung 50. Okay? Masyado ka namang kuripot sa yung pag-aaral. Read your textbooks, actually, I belong to the 50% as well. When I was a student, I also give only 50% of my effort. Kasi during the time, I was addicted to novels. I mean, to fiction. Like, alam mo yung time namin, like, Harry Potter, and so yung library namin before kasi, nag-a-avail sila ng mga fiction books. Meron kaming fiction section. Kung ano yung bagong labas sa National Bookstore, we have that. And it's for free. Pero pwede mo lang hiramin for 3 days ang fiction na bago. So, isipin mo, kailangan mong hiramin yon agad kung kasi uunahan ka ng iba. So, paglabas, pagbaba ng pagbaba, kakaprint lang ng book borrower's card sa likod, nandun na agad ang pangalan ko, Cherry. So, kaya nung college, payat ako kasi nasa 7th floor yung aming library. 7th floor, tapos walang escalator, walang elevator. Ayan. Sobrang hilig ko doon. So, habang nagkaklase yung teacher ko, yung mga classmate ko nagre-review, ako may dalang yan, novel. Basa. Yan. So, I only give 50%. Which means that, siguro if I gave like a little bit more, maybe, I will graduate with higher GWA. Higher average. Pero, wala eh. So, nako, sabi nga nila, hindsight is always 2020. So, ngayon ko lang na-realize kasi tapos na. Parang sa Tagalog, nasa huli, pagsisisi. Okay. So, ganun din sa inyo. So, now that you're doing self-evaluation, o naging honest ka sa sarili mo, 50% ka lang, taas-taasan mo yung effort mo. No? When you do your, para mas marami kang makuha, mas marami kang matutunan. Lalo na ngayon, online class, let me tell you the truth. Not every professor will be equipped for this scheme. No? Meron, I remember, the first time we did this training, no, kasi I'm also a student, nag-aaral ako eh. So, meron kaming professor, ganito siya. Sobrang lapit sa camera. Okay, class. Sabi ko, ma'am, gaano ka close? Wow! Parang napapalayo ako, ma'am, tama na. So, alam mo yan? So, sometimes, of course, not everyone is like good with tapos bilang daldal siya yung daldal, pero hindi nakapresent yung hindi nakapresent yung PowerPoint. Tapos, sabi naman, ma'am, excuse, nakakahiya rin kasi, doc eh. Doc, excuse pa. Tapos yung ibang matanda, hindi rinig yung boses. Hindi nila kami rinig siguro. Tapos nagsasalta siya, alam mo yun? So ko, ano daw? So, kailangan mo ng subtitle para sa mga sinasabi nila. So, ibig sabihin, not everyone is equipped. So, you have, as a student, to put on more, of the weight, like self-study. Kaya ngayon nga, kaya siya blended learning kasi maraming self-directed study, meaning may mga times po na hindi tayo ganito, hindi tayo magkikita, pero may mga readings kayo, tapos may mga sasagutan after. So, yeah, so you have to adapt to that. You have to adjust to that as well. No? So, para doon sa mga hindi sanay, sa mga pagbabago, naiinis sa mga pagbabago, ayan. So, you need to adapt. Okay? So, that is your, so that is your evaluation. Next is, number 10, the standard 10 is collegiality and professional relationships. What do we mean by this? Alam nyo, we're used to this, no? Isang nakakalungkot sa Filipino style of governance is yung inggitan. Alam mo yun, instead na magtulungan, like best practices, for example, sa mga barangay, no? Parang, uy, ang ganda nung ginawa ni Barangay 1. Si Barangay 2, dapat parang sabi niya, "Ay, can I uy, barangay 1, paano mo ginawa yan? Puwede bang ano, tulungan mo kami so that we can also adopt that in our context sa barangay 2?" Dapat gano'n. Kasi magkakaroon ka ng mga professional relationships, yung mga mga associations, ganyan. So, the public health nurse establishes collegial partnerships, meaning with the same level, mga nurses din na public health nurses sa ibang barangay. So, partnerships while interacting with representatives of the population for professional growth. So, ang purpose mo dyan, para malaman ano ba yung practices nila na pwede mong i-adapt sa sarili mong context. Hindi naman ibig sabihin plagiarism. Ang ibig lang sabihin nun, syempre, we want for a real health equity to be experienced in the Philippines, we need each and everyone to, like, contribute what they think is best. And once that they were able to implement it in their community, baka sakaling ma-adopt yun ng ibang mga community. So, dun papasok po yung ating professional networks, no? And that is very, very important, that is very, very important. Kaya lang kasi ang problema sa mga sometimes, no, sa mga government or sa mga nurses or even sa mga kahit na anong sigurong local government, may pagkamadamot, no? Parang ayaw nilang sabihin na, "Bahala kayo, figure out on your own." Parang, "Uy, ano bang ginamit mo diyang material?" Parang iba, "Ay, bahala ka." So, kailangan kasi collegial relationship, no? Hindi mo naman hindi ka naman ang tawag dito, wala namang mababawas sa'yo kung tutulungan mo rin yung isang community, no? So, that is what we're trying to say here on our standard 10. Next is standard 11. This is collaboration. So, medyo nabanggit na natin to when you talk about planning, no? Collab. Yan. So, ang nagko-collab, hindi lang po social media influencers. So, nakikita natin madalas, uy, nag-collab sila. Yun, cool. Pampadami ng views. Ayan. So, collaboration also happens with interbarangays. Kaya nga, di ba may mga interbarangay collaborations. Like, sa SK, di ba yung SK Federation, interbarangay yun, di ba? So, mga different barangay sa isang municipality, and then they have their SK Federation president. Tama ba ako? Yun, so something like that. So the public health nurse collaborates with representatives of the population in health promotion. So not just you, so para may ownership, as we've said, you collaborate with representatives of different population groups. Sa mga community, meron yung mga tinatawag nating population aggregates. Pag sabi aggregates, yung mga nagugrupo-grupo together. Like, for example, senior citizen. Napansin niyo ba sa mga senior, ano sila, they tend to aggregate. Pag sabi mo aggregate, nagkukumpulan. So, ang senior citizen, meron yan usually association sa isang community. Nandiyan ang mga senior. Ayan. Tapos we also have the pregnant moms, no? Pregnant moms. Ayan. Nakakatawa lang pag lagi taon-taon nandun ka sa asosasyon na yun. Uy, nandito ka na naman. So, ilan ba yan? Naka-12 ka na. Okay. So, 12 years ka ng president. 12 years ng pregnant mom. So, ganun. So, you have to, like, there are this group of people kasi they share the same experiences and also probably the same characteristics. So, they tend to group together. So, these are your aggregates. And, kailangan may representation ka from each aggregate. So, ganun din sa mga generations. Di ba, ang generation po namin, namin to millennials kami. Taray. Ang mga millennials, it's the people who lived, or rather who were born from 1985 to 1994. 1985 to 1994. Yay! I'm part of that. Okay, so kung dun ka, millennial ka. Pag ikaw pinanganak from 1995 to 2010, 95 to 2010, ang pangalan sa'yo, Generation Z. Gen Zer. Yay, Gen Zer. So, pag pinanganak ka naman from 2011 onwards, okay, ang tawag sa'yo, Generation Alpha. Yan. Naubos na kasi yung letter. So, alpha na yung next. So, meron Generation X bago yung millennial, di ba? So, you have Generation X, ayan. Tapos you have your millennials, and then you have your Gen Zers, and then now, Generation Alpha. Now, in these different generations, iba-ibang characteristics niyan, no? So, iba-ibang characteristic ng millennial, ibang characteristic ng Gen Zer, ibang characteristic ng Gen Alpha, ibang characteristic ng Generation X, no? And sometimes, you have to have representation of each of these population aggregates aggregates para maging effective yung interbarangay projects mo. Kasi kapag walang representative from these different aggregates, ang tendency hindi sila magjo-join. Can you imagine? Halimbawa, ang inyong public health nurse, let's say, ang tawag diyan, most of the time, ang kausap lang niya the adults. Alam mo yon, yung mga housewives, yung mga ganon. So, syempre, yun dun sa may programa siya, hindi sasali dyan ng mga young adult, hindi sasali dyan yung mga Generation Z, yan. So, kasi hindi sila represented. So, yung program, hindi sila tata-target. So, kailangan gumawa ka ng way para maging represented sila kasi magugulat ka na lang dun sa mga suggestion nila because age does not limit creativity. Okay? So, hindi ibig sabihin na, uy, bata pa to, wala tong alam. Hindi ganon, hindi na ganon ngayon. So, magugulat ka because the younger generations are very, very creative. Okay? So, that's your collaboration. Next is your ethics. Yan. And who else will do your PowerPoint? Nakikita kayo sa mga barangay, mga barangay captain, hindi marunong gumawa ng PowerPoint. So, ang gagawin PowerPoint, yung kanilang yung millennial na kasama nila, yung marunong gumawa. Ethics. When we talk about ethics, obviously, it's so, so important. I know your preview to the news recently of a very unethical Zoom meeting with the barangay captain and the treasurer. You didn't know. Buti naman. Okay, so, pero kung alam nyo, yan, natulfo sila. No? At na-news sila. Because it's like a Zoom meeting. I'm not gonna play any video. Baka sabi, ma'am, pa-play. Okay. So, natanggal na po yun sa YouTube. Kasi, at saka, pag sinerch sa YouTube, blurred naman siya. Pero, oh my gosh, for research purposes, research lang talaga, hinanap ko yung original video. Alam mo, I'm so curious. Sabi kasi nung husband ko, Yam, have you seen? Yam, tawagan namin Yam. Ayan. Nang iinggit, yan. It stands for You Are Mine. Taray, di ba? So, Yam, sabi niya sa akin, Yam, have you watched the video of the barangay captain? Sabi ko, what video? Yung Zoom. Sabi ko, ano nangyari sa Zoom? Like, they were in a Zoom meeting and he had an affair, like an intimate affair with the treasurer, oh my gosh, of the barangay. And they're like both married to a different people, of course. They're both married and everything was caught on the act sa Zoom. So it's like, what? So it's in like I'm not sure, Cavite yata yung ano na yan. And it's an inter-barangay. Kaya ko siya nabanggit kasi inter-barangay, it's a collaborative meeting about yung strategy nila against COVID. Kasi mag-change na, di ba, from GCQ, MGCQ, tas baka lax na yung mga community quarantine. So, they need a strategy to implement in the whole of barangay. And yun, during the meeting, parang they have like, yung treasurer and the barangay captain have their phones on and they're in Zoom. And the barangay captain turned off his video, but the other one did not, turn off her video. I'm not sure, but it seems to me that way, no? So they thought na off na yung video, and then they had yan, some intimate stuff, and it's so gross if you like watch the whole thing, because afterwards si barangay captain lumapit pa din sa kanyang table kung nasa nakapatong yung isang video cam and took tissue. So gross, guys. Kuha siya ng tissue tapos nag-wipe siya sa harap ng mga, and sa akin kaya ko alam na naka-zoom siya because the one who recorded it clicked the participants kasi sa Zoom hindi mo makikita sa isang grid lang lahat. So, you need to like swipe the window to see the other participants. At andun sila. Yung ibang mga participant, nakaganon yung iba. So, siguro hindi alam, ano, prank ba to? Di ba, siyempre sa umpisa parang, ano kababalagan to? Kasi hindi naman sila naked. They're not naked all the way. They like, just some of the needed parts. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so that was what happened. And obviously, he resigned. Ano pa bang iba? Kung di siya i-resign, iba baka kung ito po ay olden times, babatuhin na siya sa square, sa park, no, ng nakatali. Because like everybody saw it. And yun nga, so it was televised even. So, tas nakapangalan na, may pangalan sila. Anyway, so ethics should be, applied in all areas of practice, including all the inter barangays or whatever it is that you're doing. You have to integrate all the ethics. So are you done with bioethics? Tapos na kayo sa bioethics? Ngayon pa lang?
Not yet po, ma'am. Ngayon pa lang po.
Simultaneous? Okay, nice.
Opo.
So in your bioethics, you will learn there your ethical principle of equality, justice. You have there your ethical principle of beneficence, non-maleficence. Marami kayong autonomy, and all those things. And you will learn all those in bioethics. At lahat yun i-apply mo sa lahat ng practice so that the nurse is beyond reproach. Kasi ang hirap, no? Pag napulaan, community pa naman, guys. Parang public service din yan. Kahit sobrang dami mong nagawa, pag you fall once, it's like very parang magic pen na erase, na erase lahat yung nagawa mo maganda because like you did something that is out or is very unethical. So you have to make sure that you are beyond reproach. And personally, of course, as a person, that's one thing. Yun lang, professional and as a person, you have to be beyond ethical reproach. Okay, next is research. Yay, research. So as you can see in my introduction, it's one of my favorite things to do because it takes me places. And so if you're fond of research, then it might take you places kasi marami pang ayaw ng research. So if you like do your research right here in our I think it's in the latter part. Pero may research tayo dito ngayon sa CHN1. Pag ginawa mo maganda yon, we will pass that actually sa conference abroad and malay mo mapili tayo. So if we are chosen, maybe we could go to the place and present. So kung sa Malaysia, South Korea, so usually yun ang mga nagbibigay ng grants. You have South Korea, Malaysia, ano pa ba? Japan also gives grant, US also gives grants. Pero ako ang nag-grant pa lang ako is Malaysia, South Korea, pero yung Malaysia hindi ko napuntahan. So, I've been to South Korea for 6 times now. Yan, 2% research. So, it's all for free. Yan. So, if you want to see some yan. So, I really don't know them. Actually, when I went there, so, wala lang, mag-isa ako kasi ng time na yun. I went to Nami Island alone. Yan. So, mga ganon. So, if you like Seoul, one of the, what do you call this? Dongdaemun Plaza in Seoul, there was a signing of, what do you call that band? They're quite famous at that time. BTX. May BTS ba? BTX? Sorry. Ano ang pangalan nun? Uy, may nag-chat. That band, they're signing, tas meron silang kasing life-size cutouts nila doon sa likod nila, tas they were signing something. And may mga nakapila. Tas may mga Pinoy. So, sabi ko, ano po yan? Sabi, ay, ma'am, sabi may ano dito, BTX or something, ano. So, BTS. Ayan, ano ibig sabihin BTS? May meaning ba yun? BTS? S? May meaning yun? Wala. So, yun, BTS sila. Tapos, ayun, sila yun, nagpipirma sila ng mga bilang ma'am alam ko, Bangtan. Oo, boy band sila. Tapos magkakamuka. I mean, to me. Kasi hindi ko sila kilala. Sabi ko, paano niyo po nalalaman kung sino-sino sila? Paano magkakamukha po sila? Sabi ng mga, ma'am, hindi. Tapos sila sabi siya, ho? Ay, so hindi ko kilala. Basta gano'n. So, ay, ang galing. Sabi ko, nakakatuwa naman. So, nagpipirma sila ng mga parang album at saka t-shirt, mga gano'n. Tapos, merong cosmetics silang binibenta. Sabi ko, ayoko baka maging kamukha ko sila. And so, magkamukha silang babae. Sobrang puti. And then, so anyway, so when you do your research, right, maybe we'll pass it there. They're so interested with Filipinos. And super bait. Super bait talaga. Hindi nung BTS, nung mga Koreans. Like, sa akin magkakamukha sila, pero yung mga binata Koreans, may mga gwapo, may mga hindi. Pero marami yung retokado daw, sabi nila. Pero yung mga hindi retokado na gwapo, grabe talaga. Mga doctors. Kasi usually pag sa conference, ang makikilala nyo, mga doctors. Ayan. Mabait daw yung BTS. Ayan. So, I remember before, pagbaba ko ng bus, kasi, bumaba akong bus, lumipad yung, syempre, so typical, di ba? Parang Korean novela lang to. So, pagbaba ko ng bus, syempre nagbayad ako, ang lola mo. So, lumipad yung, yung mga pera. Shung! Ayan. So, doon wala talagang nangnanakaw kasi hindi sila nagpepera, puro credit card sila. Sabi nila ang nagpepera lang daw doon turista. So, lumipad yung pera ko, yun may tumulong sa akin. Tas siya naka-Americana, usually nakaganon ang mga makikita mo sa mga Koreans, very formal. So, naka-Americans. Sabi niya, here, ganyan. Tapos sabi ko, hi, sabi ko, do you know where I can find this place, gano'n. Tapos sabi, do you have number? Sabi niya, kasi cellphone number daw. Hindi ko siya kilala. Tapos sabi ko, yes. Tapos pinakita ko yung number. Tapos denial niya dun sa phone niya. Sa phone niya yung number. Kasi like, sa kanila, free call everywhere. Dun sa Korea. Basta meron ka ng mga line nila. So, denial niya. Tapos binigay niya sa akin phone niya. Hindi niya ako kilala. Tapos, hello? Tapos tinawagan ko yung susundo sa akin. Hello, I'm here in the bus stop. Tapos sabi, whose phone is this? Ako, some guy, I don't know. Yun, tapos yun lang. So, tapos sabi niya, okay, so, are you done? Sabi niya sa akin, okay, thank you. And so, wala lang, ganun lang, chill lang. So, sabi ko, kung pinas to, tinakbo ko na to, hindi mo ako kilala, boy. Ganun. Pero anyway, so that's how it is there. So, it's very, very, like, cool. And yeah, I love the weather. Sobrang saya ng weather. Pag winter lang, sobrang lamig. Dumugo yung ilong ko doon. April ako pumunta eh. So, punta ako February, April, June, October. October is the best kasi it's fall. Pero nung sa akin may bagyo. So, imbis na yung falling leaves, falling branches. So, yun ang mangyayari sa inyo pag pumunta kayo may bagyo. Anyway, so in research, there you will be able to integrate your findings. So, also, yung findings ng research, kailangan i-integrate mo sa practice mo. So, let's say, for example, based on your research, katulad kanina, masyadong mataas ang number ng mga may predisposition sa diabetes. So, what you do is you focus on that. So, ang gagawin mo, gagamitin mo yung results ng research mo para alam mo kung saan papunta direction ng health programs na gagawin mo. Okay, so that is for health research. Public health nurse integrates research findings in practice. Okay. Next is your resource or utilization population. Now, what it just means is that we don't have enough resources. Pagpunta mo, kung gusto mo maging community health nurse, isa dapat na magaling ka, resourceful ka. Kailangan alam mo paano humanap ng mga magpopondo sa proyekto mo. Kasi minsan, obviously, kulang ang resources. Lalo na kung ang local government mo ay hindi naman siya marunong or hindi niya priority ang health. So let's say for example, yung local government mo ang priority kabataan. Halimbawa lang. So sa kabataan, ang mga pinagagawa niya, liga, alam mo yung mga ganun, mga typical, mga battle of the bands, puro ganon. So hindi niya priority yung health. So ikaw, kailangan marunong ka, maging resourceful ka. So the public health nurse considers factors related to safety, effectiveness, cost, and impact on practice in planning public health programs. So you have to prioritize your programs, and yung pinakamalaking impact, yun yung bibigyan mo ng funding. Okay, so that is resource utilization population. Okay. Now, I have here a question. I guess it's the last question. So this is also the last standard. Okay. So the standard 15 is leadership. Okay. So when we talk about leadership, as we've said, bilang community health nurse, you're also the advocate of health policies in your community. So you should be a leader. So public health nurse provides leadership in nursing and public health, which means that kailangan maging advocate, hindi pwedeng mahiyain. Kung hindi, wala kang mapapasang program. Kasi paglalaban mo to sa, let's say meron kayong meeting de avance or something, meeting sa inyong planning for the barangay, you have to like fight for the programs. Bakit siya importante? Anong mga benefits ng community with this? Kasi if you don't fight or advocate for it, there's a tendency na hindi yan magiging priority ng iyong barangay. Okay, so for the last question, I want us to answer in Vivox again. Last question. Let me just delete that. That was from last yesterday. Okay, so which of the following determinants of health has the highest impact on your decision to avail health services? So kung ikaw merong ino-offer na health service sa barangay nyo, alin dito yung pinaka number one consideration mo? Is it effectiveness ng health service? Yung cost ng service na yon? Yung alam mo dun sa health service na yon? Yung accessibility ng health service na yon? Yung pag-promote nila ng health service na yon? O yung rewards na makukuha mo pag in-avail mo yung health service na yon? What is your priority? Super important to. Malaman mo kung anong priority ng community nyo. Para yun yung ita-target mo na sa iyong paggawa mo ng health services. Okay, so I got 26 responses so far. Okay. More. Okay, 34 responses. Okay, so what is the result? Ta-da! Ooh, number 1 is effectiveness. Same lang. Same sa last section. So, ang pinaka-importante sa inyo, yung health service, para i-avail mo yon, dapat effective siya. So, it tells something about our population, which means we are concerned of the quality of the health service rather than the cost. Tingnan mo yung cost. 9. 9 lang, no? Promotion, so hindi masyado yun yung ano. The second thing is accessibility. Ako din yan yung aking number 1. Kasi tamad ako eh. So, ibig sabihin, kapag yung, halimbawa, meron kang pa-health service, halimbawa, free dental check-up, pag nakita ko, sobrang haba ng pila. Ayoko na. Hindi siya accessible. Alam mo yon. So, convenience. So, ibig sabihin, sa pag-community nyo, ang pinaka-importante sa kanila, let's say, is convenience. So, you have to make sure na yung process mo smooth, no? Kasi pag yun ang number 1, nila, tas, hindi smooth yung process, hindi nila i-avail yung health service, kahit palibre yon. So, cost of service, hindi masyadong priority dito sa section na to. Knowledge, okay? So, ang number 1 talaga is effectiveness, which means quality. So, kailangan i-prove mo na ang service na binibigay mo ay quality service para i-avail yan ng community na ito, yung mga sumagot dito. So, that is an example of research and how you utilize it. Now, this is the end of the topic, which means, yay, we go to your lab activity. For your laboratory activity, which you will do tomorrow, which means that tomorrow, we will not have a synchronous activity. Hindi tayo magmumukaan, harap-harapan, no? Because you will do this activity. Anong gagawin niyo po? You will conduct a virtual interview of 3 people who have availed of your barangay's health services this year. So, ang dami namang mga barangay service, TB dots, prenatal, nagpa-inject ba yan, kung ano mga, basta pumunta siya sa health center ng taon na to, 3 tao, you will interview them. Okay? Tapos, it's a virtual interview para hindi ka lalabas. Pero kung kamag-anak mo naman, nandiyan sa bahay nyo or kapitbahay nyo, pwede naman po kayong lumabas. At, pwede kayong makipag-usap. Libre tule, of course. Pwede yon. Magpatuli? Oo. Sino? Classmate? Ay, char lang. So, ngayon lang. Medyo, okay. So, anyway, if nagpatuli ka ng 20s, so ang pinaka matanda ko nang natulian sa barangay. Community namin to, sobrang saya. Nung pinagtuli kami, 25 years old. Tinuli ko, 25 years old. Ano, parang 16 lang yata ako noon. Hindi, 17 years old ako. Tinuli ko yung 25 years old. Grabe po talaga. Ayaw bumaon ng karayom. Mm. Kasi tatahiin mo yan after you cut it. Tatahiin mo yon. Ayaw bumaon. Sobrang kunat na ng balat. Mm. Ayan, so, nakakatawa. Pero, naalala ko nun, kasi usually pag nagpapatuli ka, di ba, meron kang, like, panyo para dun sa, ano mo, sa kanya nasa mukha. Sa sobrang kahihiyan. Kasi yung mga doktor sasabi, aba, ba't ngayon lang yan? 25 na, ilang taon na yan? Gano'n, nakakaya talaga. Kasi daw, sabi niya, nung nagpatuli siya nung bata siya, daw, parang na-infect. So, like nasaktan siya tas yung hindi niya tinuloy, umalis siya. So, na-infect yung So ayaw na niya, na-traumatize siya. Ngayon na 25 years old na siya, gusto niya na ulit. Ayun. Kaya lang, yun, sobrang hirap tuliin ang So, kung meron pang hindi tuli dyan, so, nagtutuli ako. Libre lang. Okay, so, kaya lang virtual. Char. Paano yung virtual tuli? Okay. Anyway, so you have to conduct a virtual interview and of 3 people who have availed of your barangay health service this year. Tapos ano kukunin mo doon sa interview? Tanongin mo yung demographic data nila, age, sex, educational attainment, occupation, civil status. And then ask them ano yung program na in-avail nila. Yung ba? Libre tule, TB dots, prenatal, vaccine, whatever. And then you have there a scale, Likert scale to. Syempre, 1, least satisfactory, 5, very satisfied, parang ganon. So you have health workers' competence and attitude. Are they very satisfied? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or not satisfied. Venue, yun, yung mismong barangay, okay ba? Procedure, paano yung process na ginawa nila, pumila ba sila, and all those things. Cost, kung may binayaran man sila, and then the overall health service. And then number 4, what does the health workers need to do to improve on or need to improve on. So, meron ba mga kailangan gawin yung health workers para ma-improve pa yung service? So, ito naman, ililist down lang nila. So, ano yung mga nakita nyo na pwede pong improve? Sabi nila na, ay, kulang ho yung gamot or ganon. Or, ang tagal ho namin hinintay yung doktor. So, yung mga ganon. So, ano po, sabi, ang bukas daw 9, 10 na nagsimula. Yung mga ganyan. So, these are the things that you will gather the information of. Now, huwag kayong mag-alala, I'm gonna provide a form where you will place there your, what do you call this? You will place there your results. So, may form yan sa Google Classroom nyo. Wala pa ngayon doon, no? So, I will place that there. Pero gagawin nyo na po yung interview nyo tomorrow. Okay? So, yung 9 to 12 natin, so you can utilize that for you to do your interview. Now, para may proof na may interview, just a screenshot of you doing the interview. Tapos, kahit naka-blur lang or smiley face lang yung ini-interview nyo para hindi naman siya ma-expose, no? So, kung ano naman, face-to-face interview, selfie lang, tapos naka-smiley face lang din yung ini-interview nyo. Okay? So, to provide anonymity. Okay, so are we good? Do you understand the activity? Okay, so yun lang yung activity natin for the lab. Do you have any questions? Ayan, may nagpapasked yata ng tuli. Sino to? Si John Randall. Sino ba yan? Okay. Okay. So, you can do the screenshot of this activity. Baka, ma-miss out nyo yung mga gagawin. Okay, do that screenshot. And then I'll provide you with the video copy of this lecture. So, okay mag-alala. Naka-ano naman siya. Video. Okay. So, naka-record siya. So, let me just stop my sharing so that I can see you guys. Hi. Yan. Okay. So, do you have any questions? You can unmute now if you have questions.
Wala po.
Wala. Naiintindihan naman? Yes.
Apa.
Yes
Ma'am,
po.
may kaklase bukas kami hindi pa po daw makaka-attend.
What do you
Hanggang
mean?
Wednesday po ata. Gawa po ng yung tatay niya po ay namatay daw po. Siya daw po yung nag-aasikaso.
Oh, yeah. Oo, nag-chat siya sa akin. That's
Okay po.
okay. That's okay. I understand. Okay, so ang deadline ng interview will be next week. Pero I will give you already, you have the time to do it tomorrow. Okay? So any more questions? Wala nang katanungan? Any questions? Wala. Okay. So, I think wala pa yung iba nating co-teacher. Yung iba yung teachers dito, no? I'm just gonna grab. Can you open your videos for just one moment so that I can take a picture of us doing this Zoom meeting? Hi! Ayan. Wala namang ano dyan, may kasamang treasurer. Chill. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna take a picture. So I'm gonna like, di ko alam kung sino mga kasama sa first window, no? So just smile. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Smile. Isa pa kasi may next slide pa eh. Ayan. O, iba naman mga kasama natin. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay. Guys, I hope that you learned something from today's lesson. So I'll see you next week, but tomorrow you have your Google Classroom for this activity. Okay, so thank you and bye. God bless everyone.
Thank you
Thank you
po,
po,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Nice
po,
meeting
ma'am.
you. Nice meeting you guys.
Thank you, ma'am.
Punta tayong Seoul. Bye.
Bye po.
Tama po kami, ma'am.
Sure, sama kayo. Kayong gagawa ng research. Sama ako sa inyo. Ayan. Pipresent natin doon, no? Okay, bye.